In Genesis chapter 22 from verse 1, hear what the Bible said. It said, and God tried Abraham. It came to pass after these things that God did tempt Abraham and said unto him, and Abraham, he said, behold, here I am. Go forward. He's trying to show Abraham how to walk in all power. And he said, take now thy son, thy only son, Isaac, whom thou lovest. He said, get thee into the land of Moriah, and offer him there as a burnt offering upon one of the mountains which I will show thee. See, it's not every power you operate in by quoting scriptures. Many Christians are fake. They pick one scripture from somebody's testimony and begin to quote it. Ask the person what he did. In order for you to walk in absolute insurance, you must master the way of sacrifice. The way of sacrifice is the way of immortals. Any man that wants his dynasty to be immortalized on the face of the earth must learn quickly the language of sacrifice, because you cannot walk and keep pace with God until you understand this. This is how God lives. In fact, in John 3:16, it says, for God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten son. This is the way of God. The way of God is the way of sacrifice. And so anybody who wants to function like God must master this. This is what causes the mouth of men to be full of laughter. And this is what brings men from all captivity. The goal of power is to bring you out of captivity. And this is the one thing you do that makes you step out of all captivity and begin to advance the purpose of God on the face of the earth. When Abraham went to sacrifice Isaac, God swore to him. He said, now I've sworn to you by myself. I have sworn. Sovereignty has now been committed to Abraham. And so Abraham doesn't need to pray to dominate. The reason Abraham will dominate now is because God has sworn to him. He said, in blessings I will bless you, and in thee shall all the nations of the earth will be blessed. And so any man who understands sacrifice will have God's eternal faithfulness and allegiance. And on the strength of that, if he prays, it's good. Even if he doesn't pray, he will walk in power. Because Abraham doesn't need prayer to walk in power anymore. God swore to him. This is why Abraham and his sons, anything they do works. A point came, Isaac wanted to run to Egypt. In Genesis 26, he says, stay still in Gerar. Your prosperity is not tied to a location. Now, don't get it wrong. There are certain prosperities that are tied to location. That's why God sends men to location. But anybody who has entered power through sacrifice, he defies location and prospers. Your own prosperity, others can go to Egypt, but your own prosperity is not tied to a location. He said, in this same land, I will bless you. And he said, Isaac sowed in that land. And in the same year, he reaped 100-fold harvest. And the Bible said something. The Philistines came to him and said, go away from us. You are bigger than us. How can one man be bigger than a nation? You are bigger than us. Go from us. Isaac dug a well. They seized it. He left them. The well dried. He dug another well. They seized it. He left it. The well dried. Until a point came, they now discovered it's not about the well. It's about the man. And so the third well he dug, they left him. He now called it Rehoboth. I've come to my rest. These people now have gained understanding. Because it's not about the location. It's about who is walking. But what conferred this level of authority upon them was the mystery of sacrifice. There are too many Christians who are too selfish and self-centered to engage the altar of sacrifice. In 1 Kings chapter 3, from verse 3, we saw another man who walked in this power. His name is called Solomon. They made him king. He was a young man. In fact, if you read 1 Kings chapter 3, verse 6, 7, and 8, Solomon gave an assessment of himself. He said, I am but a child. I know not my right from my left. That is an assessment, a self-assessment. I am a child. But he knew something. It's called sacrifice. And the Bible said Solomon gave a burnt offering of 1,000 cows. One man gave that offering. God couldn't wait for him to pray. It was God who showed up and said, ask what you want. There are those who pray, but those who sacrifice, I meet them. Ask what you want. See, Christians are traveling everywhere looking for people to pray for them, looking for people to lay hands on them. All of that is good, but as a